Hi friends. So again I'm back with my next video. आज का basically problem statement और I would say जो topic हम cover करने वाले हैं, which is how we can auto generate the code to call the REST API. So इसको solve करने के लिए there are 4 steps basically. First is we have to install the Postman tool, which is available it is an open source tool and you can easily download from the internet. Second is we'll be adding the REST endpoint details on the Postman, and then third step would be we'll be generating the code to call the REST endpoint. Fourth is we'll be executing the code to see that whether the code which is generated is correct or not. So let's start with the first step. So I'm on Google. I have opened the Chrome browser. We just have to search the Postman application. So the very first URL which is coming, it is Postman API platform. You need to click on this URL, and then you can simply download this by providing this just a very your email ID or something. And this is again open source. You can use for non-commercial purpose without any cost. So once you install, you will click on the Postman link and you will see the interface somewhat like this. So I already created some of the collection and there are a few REST endpoints. Because of that, it's showing like this, but you can simply click on this 3 option. Just give me a second. So what you can do is this plus button is visible. You can create a new collection. You can name it as per your convenience. Say for example, I'm putting this as training. Now under the training, what I need to do is I need to add new request. So once I'll add it, it will show like this. Now here you can mention the name, whatever you feel, which through which you can identify that it is the same URL which you're thinking of. So I'll put REST API. Now moving to second step, which is we need to add the API endpoint details along with the authentication. So I already copied the endpoint and I'm pasting here. So this would be my endpoint which I would be calling to get some information. And now this particular endpoint doesn't have any authentication. So for authentication perspective, it will be no auth. And in case there are additional parameter which you want to pass on, you can definitely do that. But as of now, it is not needed for this endpoint. And in case something you want to send as a part of body, then definitely that is also doable. So right now, keeping it simple, so I'm not adding any kind of additional complexity. Now what I need to see is whether the endpoint is working or not. So just click on the send button. Yes. So we are getting this response basically. Now the very next thing which we need to do is, so we are done with first step, which is first install the Postman tool. Second step, we have added the endpoint details. Third step, now we need to generate the code. So on the right side corner, you see there is an option available called code. So you need to click on this button and bingo. So now you got this code. And what you need to do is simply copy that code. So I actually already copied that code and I have mentioned in this tool. Generally I prefer to use VS Code, which is very lightweight and very user friendly. I have pasted also. Now if you see, the overall structure of this code is that you are defining few of the variable which you will be passing on as a part of request parameter. So I have created the very first variable which is called URL, and I have provided the endpoints. second is method I have created, and with that I am putting as get. In case the method is post, you can make the changes. In case put or any other, there are so many type of methods available, and as per your or as per the downstream requirement, you can define that or you can make the changes. Now I actually have defined the client here. So client, I'm actually calling the HTTP library to call that endpoint function, and in again I have defined one more variable which is request, and I am bundling all these information in one go. That is, as a part of parameter, I have defined method. Second is URL. So method is get, URL is this one, and the third parameter is body. So right now, just to avoid the complexity, we are not adding anything in the body part, so it would be nil. Now this is a very one of the best part is the error handling is quite simple. So I have defined, in case there would be any error, just print on the terminal. Then I'm calling this client.do method, which would actually be helping to send the whole payload, and as an output I'll be getting the response in this variable response. Again, in case of any error, it will be printed on the terminal. The very important thing is that once we got the response, we need to close the connection also. So I have put it as defer. And why I have put it as defer? Because I expect that once the whole processing is done, then only my connection should be closed. Otherwise, I'll be getting the error. And this is the basically line which would actually help to read the whole response which we got from the REST endpoint, and it will add in the body part. And the last but not the least, we have printed this variable as a part of print. So it will display on the terminal that what is the response we have got. Now we have understood this structure. Now let's run this code and see that what response we are getting. Now here what I'm doing is I'm just creating a new terminal. Click. Okay. And now I'm in the training directory, so we need to go inside this REST endpoint. So just simple command cd REST endpoint. It's done. Now the next point is we need to run this code. So go run, and file name is REST API, and it's I have executed the code, and bingo, we got the response and it is printed on my terminal. So this is how we can create the code with the help of Postman, and post that, just writing an additional few lines, we can easily insert the whole response in the any of the database of your choice. So in my subsequent video, I'll be actually writing the further code that how we can store this response in our database. We'll be definitely exploring some of the on-demand databases like MySQL, or people who are more interested in using the non-SQL database. So for them, we'll be exploring the MongoDB. And definitely, if you're thinking beyond these two databases, thinking of some cache, then yes, we can think of Aerospike as well, or we have some CacheDB which we can use for caching. But definitely those would be a next level kind of complexity, but we'll try to keep it simple. So initially we'll be using MongoDB and MySQL, and then gradually we'll be moving to some caching based database, or I would say map databases. Yeah. So thank you guys. Thank you so much.